How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just want to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event, the 3-year anniversary show from last night, which was May 25th, 2022. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was Wardlow versus Shawn Spears in a steel cage match. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Wardlow went over with the power bomb on a steel chair. Well, after the match, MJF, after the match, Wardlow tried to execute the powerbomb symphony to MJF, but a bunch of security guards came into the ring and MJF retreated, and as MJF retreated and the security guards came into the ring, Wardlow laid a bunch of security guards out with a punch in the face, and then the last security guard got punched in the face, but Wardlow executed a power bomb to one of the security guards through the steel cage, and as MJF retreated and the security guards got laid out by Wardlow climbed up top of the steel cage, and MJF was on the stage on his ass looking on, and Wardlow was staring down MJF and everything. That was cool. And that was after the match, by the way. Match 2, it was Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Private Party, which are Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston went over because Jon Moxley pinned Isaiah Cassidy with the paradigm shift. Now, after the match, the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, ran down to the ring and ganged up on Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, and a brawl ensued, but Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston were outnumbered, so Bryan Danielson and Proud and Powerful, which are Santana and Ortiz, ran down to make the save for Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, and a brawl ensued between all 10 men, and all the referees and the coaches all had to come out and break it up and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. Match 3, it was FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, versus Roppongi Vice, which are Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. That was a great match, but the ending to it, neither FTR or Roppongi Vice went over. It ended in a no contest, cause the United Empire, which are Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, came out and attacked both FTR and Roppongi Vice and beat the shit out of them, and at some point in that brawl, that's how it ended. The match ended in a no contest because the United Empire, which are Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, interfered and attacked FTR and Roppongi Vice. FTR retained the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. And after the match, the United Empire, which are Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, continued to beat the shit out of FTR and Roppongi Vice, and at some point in the beatdown, Jeff Cobb executed the Tour of the Islands to Rocky Romero and Lady Mount, and because Cash Wheeler was already laid out, was the first one to be attacked, and so was Trent Beretta. Yeah, so Cash Wheeler and Trent Beretta were already laid out because they were attacked before the match ended and everything. But at some point in the beatdown, Jeff Cobb executed the Tour of the Islands to Rocky Romero and Lady Mount. But before Jeff Cobb done the Tour of the Islands to Rocky Romero, Great-O-Khan done a Mongolian chop to Rocky Romero. And but Jeff Cobb got a hold of Dax Harwood, and Jeff Cobb had Dax Harwood out of the ring, and Jeff Cobb executed a gut-wrench powerbomb to Dax Harwood through a table, and then Great-O-Khan executed a claw hold and lifted Trent Beretta up and slammed him through a table off the apron. And as the United Empire, which are Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, after they beat the shit out of FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, and Roppongi Vice, which are Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, the United Empire, which are Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, stood tall, holding the Ring of Honor tag team titles up and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. That was after the match, by the way. Match 4, it was Swerve Strickland versus Jungle Boy versus Ricky Starks in a 3-way match. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Swerve Strickland went over because Swerve Strickland pinned Ricky Starks with the Swerve Stomp. Now after the match, as Swerve Strickland was celebrating his victory, Powerhouse Hobbs came out and attacked Swerve Strickland and beat the shit out of him. Then Jungle Boy jumped on Powerhouse Hobbs' back and tried to beat the shit out of him, but Powerhouse Hobbs threw Jungle Boy off of him, and then Luchasaurus came out, and Luchasaurus and Powerhouse Hobbs had a stare down, and Luchasaurus attempted to execute the choke slam to Powerhouse Hobbs, but Powerhouse Hobbs powered out of it. And as that was going on, Keith Lee came out to the ring, and Keith Lee stared down, and then a stare down between all three big men of Luchasaurus, Keith Lee, and Powerhouse Hobbs ensued, and then a brawl broke out between all three men. Well, Luchasaurus executed the tail whip to Powerhouse Hobbs, and Powerhouse Hobbs rolled out of the ring, and then Keith Lee executed a punch in the face to Powerhouse Hobbs, and Keith Lee executed a punch in the face to Luchasaurus and knocked him out of the ring, and as both Luchasaurus and Powerhouse Hobbs were out in the ring, Keith Lee executed a tope O'Connor Row plancha to Luchasaurus and Powerhouse Hobbs off the apron and laid them out. And then, well, Keith Lee got back into the ring, and, well, Ricky Starks and Jungle Boy were still laid out, but Swerve Strickland got up on his feet. Keith Lee got back into the ring, and as that went on, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland stood tall and everything. That was cool. And that was match 4, by the way. Match 5, it was Britt Baker versus Tony Storm in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament semifinal match in the women's division. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Britt Baker went over and advanced in the Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament in the women's division with a roll-up. That was match 5, by the way. And match 6, which was the main event, it was Samoa Joe versus Kyle O'Reilly in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament semifinal match in the men's division. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Samoa Joe went over and advanced in the Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament in the men's division with the Coquina Clutch. Well, after the match, as Samoa Joe was celebrating his victory, Adam Cole came out on stage and a stare down between Samoa Joe and Adam Cole ensued and everything. That was cool. And that was after the match, by the way. Now, besides the matches, the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, were walking backstage. Well, Daniel Garcia was cutting a promo saying Eddie Kingston, Blackpool Combat Club, Santana and Ortiz, you all are going to fall victim to the Jericho Appreciation Society in the Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing, because us sports entertainers, we're going to kill you professional wrestlers. And that's a fact. And then, as the Jericho Appreciation Society were walking by, they saw one of the production guys in a John Moxley shirt. And they started harassing him. Well, Matt Menard and Angelo Parker were close to the guy with the John Moxley t-shirt, and Angelo Parker said, "Check this out." Angelo Parker took his comb and combed his hair, and then Matt Menard started talking shit, saying, "You know what we do to people who wear a John Moxley shirt?" And as Matt Menard said that, Chris Jericho threw a fireball in the production guy's face. And then the Jericho Appreciation Society stood there looking on and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone was out. Well, yeah. Tony Schiavone was out in the ring and introduced CM Punk and Hangman Page, and as both CM Punk and Hangman Page were out in the ring, Tony Schiavone brought up to both CM Punk and Hangman Page about CM Punk using the buckshot lariat to defeat John Silver, and Hangman Page using the GTS to defeat Konosuke Takeshita. And Tony Schiavone was talking about how this has become a war and everything as well. And CM Punk was saying, "Hangman, you're taking this personal. I don't know why, because I respect you. You're a talented wrestler. You're a talented professional wrestler. But I have said from day one since I have returned to AEW that I am going to win the big one. And that's nothing personal, Hangman. It's business. Hangman Page Hangman Page was talking shit towards CM Punk, saying that he was going to kick his ass and he was going to destroy him, he was going to annihilate him and everything at Double or Nothing, but he wanted to do it now, but at the same time, he wanted to wait till Double or Nothing. And Hangman Page started talking shit to CM Punk and everything, and then CM Punk started talking more shit to Hangman Page, and CM Punk demanded Hangman Page to shake his hand, but Hangman Page wouldn't shake his hand, so CM Punk shoved Hangman Page, and then Hangman Page punched CM Punk in the face and laid him out. Then Hangman Page left the ring, and CM Punk was out on his ass in the ring, looking on and everything. That was cool. Wait a minute. AEW aired a video package. Wait a minute. AEW aired a vignette of the match and the build-up between Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay for the TBS Women's title at Double or Nothing. That was cool. AEW aired a video package of the career of the late great Owen Hart in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then Mark Henry had things to say, and Samoa Joe, Kyle O'Reilly, Britt Baker, and Tony Storm had things to say about it as well. That was cool. The Hardys, which are Matt and Jeff Hardy, cut a promo, and Matt Hardy was talking about how him and his brother Jeff and the Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, came from similar families because both their families were religious, and how the Hardys and the Hardys and the Young Bucks never cussed or drank or done drugs or anything. And Matt Hardy was talking about how him and his brother Jeff Hardy came from a different generation than where the Young Bucks came from and everything. And then Jeff Hardy was talking about how he came to AEW to start a new chapter in his professional wrestling career, but it will come to an end eventually. And Matt Hardy was saying that the Young Bucks are nothing but Hardy cosplayers, and talked about how, Jeff Hardy talked about how the Hardys were now old, but they're still extreme and everything. And then Matt Hardy was talking about how the Young Bucks call themselves the Elite. Well, and then Matt Hardy was saying, and since they want to play that game, my brother Jeff and I, we are the Delete and everything. That was cool. Dan Lambert and Men of the Year, which are Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, cut a promo, and Dan Lambert was talking about how the AEW TNT title was destroyed and everything, and talked about how Sammy Guevara, how Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti were all stupid and idiotic, and talked about how Sammy Guevara thought that was going to get him and Ty Conti a mixed tag team match, but that wasn't the case. And so they thought that tearing up the AEW TNT title was going to make that happen, but it didn't. And they don't realize that I have connections with people who make belts, because and plus those idiots don't realize that there's the internet and people can look up the American Top Team and we have every title there is. So I like I said, I have connections to people who make title belts, and I had a custom AEW TNT title with Scorpio Sky's image, and I am going to on the new AEW TNT title, and I am going to represent it to him on Rampage Friday night and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Thunder Rosa, and Tony Schiavone brought up to Thunder Rosa about her facing off against Serena Deeb at Double or Nothing and everything, and then Thunder Rosa was saying, Thunder Rosa was saying, "That's right, Tony. I am going to be defending my AEW Women's title against Serena Deeb. But this here right now, this face, this is the real me. This is the real Mel Cervantes. And I will say, Serena, I used to look up to you, but not anymore. Because all you do is bitch and whine about not getting your way. And I don't want that for a role model. And not only have you disrespected me, but you have also disrespected Tony Schiavone. You have also disrespected my mentor, Dustin Rhodes. And you have disrespected the fans. So, this Sunday at Double or Nothing, I am going to kick your ass, and I am going to retain my AEW Women's title. And not only am I going to do it for myself, but I'm going to do it for Tony Schiavone. I'm going to do it for my mentor Dustin Rhodes, and I'm going to do it for all you wonderful fans out there. Because Sunday night, the war paint comes on and everything. That was cool. And Tony Schiavone interviewed Red Velvet, and Tony Schiavone brought up to Red Velvet that she lost to Chris Statlander in the quarterfinals of the Owen Hart Memorial Cup tournament in the women's division and everything. And then Red Velvet was saying, "No shit, Tony. Yeah, I did lose. But I should not have lost. I should have went on to win the whole damn thing." And everything. And then Ruby Soho came by and said, "Did I just hear you whining and complaining, Red? And did I just hear my name being mentioned?" And Red Velvet said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I have been talking shit about you, Ruby. Because you are the one that's going to be facing Chris Statlander Friday night on Rampage for the in the semifinals of the Owen Hart Memorial Cup tournament in the women's division. Now, if you really want my advice, Ruby, here's your notebook of everything to do and everything." And then Red Velvet left, and Ruby Soho was saying, I am going up against Chris Statlander, and I know it's not the same Chris Statlander I faced before. And I'll admit, Chris Statlander is a tough competitor, and she will take me to my limit. And then, Ruby Soho threw the journal down, and Ruby Soho said, "But I don't need this journal. All I need is confidence, perseverance, courage, everything. And I will do just that against Chris Statlander Friday night on Rampage and everything." That was cool. Now, besides all that, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. William Regal and Chris Jericho done guest commentary along with Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur during the match between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Private Party. William Regal and Chris Jericho done great on guest commentary. And Caprice Coleman done guest commentary along with Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur during the match between FTR versus Roppongi Vice for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. In that match, Caprice Coleman done great on guest commentary. The referees for the event, the referees for the event were Rick Knox, Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, Stephon Smith, and Aubrey Edwards. They were the referees, but MJF was a special guest referee for one match. Okay. MJF was the special guest referee during the match between Wardlow versus Shawn Spears in a steel cage match, but MJF got inadvertently knocked out by Shawn Spears with a steel chair. So Bryce Remsburg came down for the rest of the match to officiate the match. Rick Knox refereed the match between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Private Party. Stephon Smith refereed the match between FTR versus Roppongi Vice for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Swerve Strickland versus Jungle Boy versus Ricky Starks. It's Aubrey Edwards, by the way. Paul Turner refereed the match between Britt Baker versus Tony Storm in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament semifinal match in the women's division. And Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Samoa Joe versus Kyle O'Reilly in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament semifinal match in the men's division. That was Bryce Remsburg, by the way. So all the referees done awesome as usual, and MJF, even though he was a biased referee and helped Shawn Spears throughout the match, he still done awesome. He still done great as a special guest referee. Now, the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage tomorrow night, it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus... Wait a minute. And So the match card for all... Excuse me. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage tomorrow night, it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Matt Sydal. The Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson, versus two local competitors. And Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament semifinal match in the women's division. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage tomorrow night that's been announced so far looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. And the match card for All Elite Wrestling's pay-per-view event Double or Nothing 4 Sunday night. For the pre-show, it's going to be Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. And for the main show, it's going to be Hangman Page versus CM Punk for the... Wait a minute. Excuse me. And the match card for All Elite Wrestling's pay-per-view event Double or Nothing 4 on Sunday night. For the pre-show, it's going to be Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. And for the main... That's for the pre-show. And for the main show, it's going to be Hangman Page versus CM Punk for the AEW title. The Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, versus Team Taz, which are Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland in a three-way tag team match for the AEW tag team titles. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb for the AEW women's title. Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay for the TBS women's title. The Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker versus Eddie Kingston, the Blackpool Combat Club, which are Bryan Danielson and John Moxley, and Proud and Powerful, which are Santana and Ortiz, in an Anarchy in the Arena match. The Hardys, which are Matt and Jeff Hardy, versus the Young Bucks, which are Matt and Nick Jackson. The Death Triangle, which are Pac, Ray Phoenix, and Penta Oscuro, versus the House of Black, which are Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. MJF versus Wardlow. Samoa Joe versus Adam Cole in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament final match in the men's division. And Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander in an Owen Hart Memorial Cup Tournament final match in the women's division. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's pay-per-view event, Double or Nothing 4, Sunday night, looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite AEW Dynamite's 3-year anniversary show. And like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.